Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Kool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Transformers Masterpiece MP-11NT Thrust. For all your Transformer needs, click the link in the description below to head on over to Robot Kingdom. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, it feels like ages since Takara teased Thrust, but I have to say it's pretty much worth the wait. And I would say it's every bit as good a figure as I thought Ramjet was. Now Ramjet did have a whole bunch of assembly issues, but luckily the stock that Robot Kingdom got, their batch was pretty good for Ramjet, so I didn't have any issues there, and I can't seem to see any issues with this Thrust release as well. From an assembly point of view, there's probably one bit of paint application issue that I've got, but it's probably an easy fix, so I won't get too fussed about it. But overall, you get the usual style packaging. So I'll just get Thrust out of the way. So it's the normal classy MP style box with the pictures of the figure, etc. on the back there. So standard style. If you've got the other MP figures for that size, you'll be fully aware on what you're getting. The instruction book is the usual style for the larger MPs, and I do like that sort of artwork. And you get the various instructions. The transformation overall is pretty much the same. There is a few differences, especially in the way the null rays transform and bend. I think this is the first MP Seeker, or based on the Seeker mold, where the null rays actually bend. All the others are one solid piece. So that's probably the main difference, I think. I probably won't go through the transformation on screen because I normally suck at those. And the transformation does look, for the most part, pretty much 90% the same, with probably the same sort of tweaks as Ramjet. So if you are familiar with those, as most collectors would be by now, you'll know what the transformation sequence will be like. Now I guess with this particular style, I'll just quickly say that there are quite a few collectors who don't like the look of Ramjet or the cone heads from Takara. I'm not quite sure why that is, to be honest, because if you're after cartoon, at least the most cartoon accurate figure out there, there's no way that you can go past the Takara MP-11 variants, because they look like they just came out of the cartoon, and people are complaining about the knee pads, etc., how they think they're too big, and right. But if you go back to the cartoon, that's exactly the way he looked. Some people were saying that they don't like his white face, and again, I think through pretty much all the episodes that I can remember, he had a white face with yellow eyes. And this whole MP line is pretty much the main demographic is for those people who love the G1 cartoon or grew up with the G1 cartoon, and to make these figures as accurate as they can to that source material. So there's third-party variants out there from Toy World or iGears and a few other things. I mean, they all look like Thrust, but they're all sort of interesting variants of him, but none of them look like they came from the cartoon except for this one right here. So I cannot recommend these guys highly enough. If you're a fan of the G1 cartoon and you are a fan of the MP series, then these are pretty much a must-have. They come with the usual collector card, which I've put in the Ultra Pro magnetic card holders, so I love this traditional style. It comes with these extra I guess cluster bombs, if you want to call it, that fit under the other side of the wings, I think. So there are slots here on either side, so you can just leave them on there in transformation, but they came separate in the packaging, so I'll put those on in a second. And it also comes with the usual MP-11 clear or translucent pilot. Now, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I think this particular accessory is absolutely useless, and I don't think I've ever used it in any of my MP-11 molds, so I'd rather they do something else than to keep providing this. So I think I've got various colors with an orange or a pink or green or something, so there's a whole bunch of different colors for these things, but I think they're pretty pointless. But I'll grab Thrust and give you guys a closer look. Alright, so here he is up close, and overall I think they've done another fantastic job with these cone heads. I particularly personally love the head sculpt. People have said they don't like the smirk, but I don't actually mind it. I think a little bit of variation between all the characters is a good thing, and with his white face and that smirk, I think it does look pretty damn good. And I do like the fact that they went with the cartoon accuracy and the yellow eyes as well. I did notice that it seems overall the plastic has improved in quality, at least with the sprue marks. I mean, I think the Thundercracker release had terrible sprue marks. Now there are some on thrust here, but along the shoulders, etc., I think it's a lot cleaner than some of the other ones that they've done. There's not too much paint application on the figure, to be honest, and I guess I mentioned before that there was a slight paint issue on mine where I didn't actually realize that I thought this was all black plastic along here. I think the front parts here may be black plastic, but these pieces down here are actually painted over the top of this red or purplish type plastic. And so as you can see, this lower bit here has a bit of the black paint bleeding through there, and a bit of a scratch on the side there. So I'll probably just get some sort of matte paint or something like that and just cover that up slightly, and I'll see if I can rub that black paint off. So that's probably the only niggle that I've got paint wise, and everything else is pretty much plastic. The knee pads of course are painted, and they are pretty much cartoon accurate. So they've got the yellow little rectangles there and the longer red rectangle, and that is pretty much straight out of the cartoon. And I can't really see, there's the usual decals for the Decepticon symbols and the upper part of these little side skirt things, but everything else I don't think is painted at all. Even these parts I think are just a molded black or greyish type plastic. There is a bit of silver highlighting there in paint, but that is pretty much it. And these areas on the wings here, but I can't really see too much. But luckily the overall sort of purplish red or maroon coloured plastic actually looks probably better in hand than I thought it was going to be. I mean, some of the photos seemed a bit washed out, but some of the more recent ones seem to give a bit more of a richer look. And in hand I think the sort of maroon colour really does stand out and make him pop a little bit more on display than maybe some of the others. The only other difference, I guess, he's got the similar transformation to Ramjet, where I guess it's unfortunate that the jet mode tip of the nose cone there is lying between his legs, so they do cheat in the transformation to get the cone head. But so it is unfortunate that that doesn't sort of peg in nicely or fold away, but it's pretty much consistent with the Ramjet design there. These bits on the side there do fold up. I think I'll just grab Ramjet here. On Ramjet, the default design of the transformation doesn't actually fold these up. So I think the standard transformation actually has these down, and they were a bit of a pain in the ass to fold up. So you do have to sort of twist them around this area to fold them back up. But once you do fold them up, it just gives a bit of a cleaner look. So I did prefer that, and I've probably left it in that since I did that. But as you can see, they're pretty much the same. The legs here have the wings, just like Thrust does here. So they've sort of kept that same design, and I do like the fact that they've got those wings on the legs there. I guess in the cartoon, I guess there's a bit of conjecture on whether or not these wings were on the legs or up on his back here. I actually prefer them on the legs, to be honest, so I don't mind that design at all. But that is pretty much it in bot mode. As I was saying before, there were no assembly issues on mine, so the quick check for the shoulder joint is pretty much to make sure that this little bracket here, the longer edge is facing the front and the shorter edge is facing the back. So it's unfortunate that they screwed that up for Ramjet, but for thrust, everything seems pretty much a-okay. Articulation, I guess, is usual for all the MP-11 molds, so it is a bit restricted around the legs and so on, and with all the kibble on the wings and so on, but that's pretty much the way the cone heads looked in the cartoon, so I can't complain too much about that. But as I was saying before, I'll get him into alt mode and give you guys a look at how he looks as a jet. So as I was saying before, the only major difference is how these null rays transform. And the difference with thrust here is you need to fold them in half, and then these little extension pieces, you just need to fold them flat against the surface here, and then that'll allow you to fold them down to this. It took me about 10 minutes to try and figure that out from the instructions, but once you fold them flat against the side, you can then rotate them around and have them look like that. Alright, so here he is in jet mode, and overall I think he looks pretty damn fantastic. I think the only quibble I would have is, you know, maybe the consistency in this black and grey area would have been a bit nicer. I guess I've got a bit of paint rub on the Decepticon symbol there. But overall, it looks pretty damn cartoon accurate, and I can't complain too much about it. This side on mine tends to sort of pop out fairly easily, so you just need to peg it in, and you can push it in. You can hear a bit of a click as it does that. This side clips in a lot easier. There's a couple of little pegs that you clip it on, so just depending on how you align it will depend on how easily you can sort of get it to fit in. But the weapons, these weapons tend to sort of move around a bit. There's a little notch that you sort of put them through on the knee pads there, and have them sit like that, and then you just add these on the lower wings. I guess I didn't realize that these little spinning things actually spin. I just found that out by accident. I thought they were just fixed in place, but they rotate, so that's a nice little touch. And that's pretty much it for thrust here. I can't think of anything else to show in this particular mode. I'm not even going to try and bother getting the landing gear out, because it's an absolute pain in the ass. And I didn't bother transforming a Ramjet either, so I apologise for that. But hopefully that gives you guys a good look at thrust. They've teased Dirge at one of the recent Hong Kong conventions, I think. So it's been a while since they've teased it with no pre-order, so I was actually hoping to have all the cone heads done and dusted by the end of the year, but that seems unlikely now. But hopefully they release it in early 2017, and we can pretty much tick the cone heads off, and pretty much the 6 core Seekers out of the G1 cartoon, with the original 3 as well. So hopefully you like that look at thrust. Hopefully you can click that subscribe button and stay tuned for the upcoming things I've got. So I do still have some 1/6 scale, and I guess later this month I've also got MP Inferno coming as well, so hopefully you can stick around for that. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.